it will be a brief presentation with basic information, but I hope that will help anyone to have a clear perspective. So I will go first to speak about the spirit and his integration on the universe. The origin of everything that exists is God, source of infinite power, who, in the act of creation, gives rise to the spirit. This generating principle of the intelligent, incorporeal individualities that populates the universe, and the universal fluid source from which all things are organized in potentially decreasing gradation down to the matter. These two expressions of the divine creation, spirit, and matter are never revealed separately, except for thought, since in God everything is unified. So, God, spirit, and matter are the universal Trinity. In the Spirit book, Allan Kardec, at the question 27, asked, so, are two general elements in the universe matter and spirit? And the higher spirits said, yes, and over everything is God, the creator and author of all. These three elements comprise the principle of all that exists. They are the universal Trinity. In a similar way, man is a Trinitarian in his constitution of spirit, perispirit, and physical body, perfectly integrated and articulated at the service of the immortal being in the role that is up to him to play in the work of creation. Allan Kardec told us in Medium's book that numerous observation and irrefutable facts have demonstrated that human beings consist of three components. One, the soul or spirit, the intelligent principle in which moral sense resides. Two, the body, the material and dense envelope, which the spirit temporarily uses as a garment for fulfilling certain providential designs. And three, the perispirit, the fluidic, semi-material envelope, which serves as the link between the soul and the body. And first, I will start to speak about spirit. And we all know that the spiritual principle has its own existence. Individualized, the spiritual element constitutes beings called spirits. Spirits are, therefore, intelligent individuals, incorporeal, populating the universe created by God, independent of matter. At the 23 question, Allan Kardec asked, what is spirit? And the higher spirit said, the intelligent principle of the universe. At the 23a, asked, what is spirit's innermost nature? And the spirit said that it's not easy to explain spirit in your language. For you is nothing, because it is not something palpable. Nevertheless, for us it is something. You must realize that nothing means nothing, and nothing does not exist. So the spiritual principle is the coronary of the existence of God. And all the spirits have the same point of departure, that they are all created simple and ignorant with an equal aptitude for progressing by means of their individual activity, that they will all reach the degree of perfection suitable to them through their own personal efforts, that being children of the same Father, they are all object of the same consideration, and that none are more favored or more gifted than others, nor excused for the labor that will be imposed on everyone else to reach the goal. So here we can see that God is justice, and good. And for all his children, uh, prepare a spiritual life, um, a right spiritual life, and there is no favor, and there is no gifted more one than other, and there is no spirits that will live forever in the happiness and join the love and beauty that they find and purity, and the other ones will be eternally suffering. So all we have the same way, and just as God has created material worlds throughout all eternity, God also has also created spirit beings throughout all eternity. In order to define the spiritual body in same way, it is necessary to consider, first of all, that is not a reflection of the physical body, since in reality it is the physical body that reflects it. In the same way as itself, the spiritual body is in turn the portrait of the mental body, which presides over its formation. From the point of view of constitution and function, the spiritual body is the physical vehicle for excellence, with its electromagnetic structure somewhat modified in relation to the genetic and nutritional phenomena, but in accordance, however, with the acquisition of the mind that handle it. Corresponds to the mind, which is reflection on the planes of phenomena and where consciousness is projecting towards the temporary personality in each evolutionary phase of integral and integral being. So every time we are coming here, we have a temporary personality that the mind is helping and planes all the phenomena. And we are for sometimes directed, projected toward this temporary personality and make the evolution in every phase. And that being in development, two mental levels are manifested, acting on one on the other, incessantly, the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious is much broader and more complex because it's the storehouse of all individual experience. So all our experience are there in the storehouse, all that our experience when we were incarnated and even when we were in the spiritual plane. The conscience is for the unconscious. As active forces in the embodied spirits, we have thought, feeling, and will, which together play a very important role forming the mental current that, under the command of the will, it will act on matter and fluids to transform them. But this mental current that the energetic structure of the perispirit vibrate, activating in turn the nervous system in the physical field, so that the spirit becomes aware of what is happening in the somatic body and behind it, sending orders and stimuli to regulate their action. Spirits simply possess instruments more perfect than yours, the will and the permission of God. At the question 82, Allan Kardec asked, "It is correct to say that spirits are immaterial?" And the spirit said, "How can we define something when we have no terms for comparison and when we only have an insufficient language at our disposal? Can one who is born blind define the light? Immaterial is not the right word. Incorporeal would be more precise because you should understand that since it is a creation, a spirit must be something. A spirit is a synthesized method. You have no analogies for describing it. It is also so etherized that your sense cannot perceive it. And Allan Kardec says, we say that spirits are immaterial because their essence differs from everything we know by the name of matter. We can only define them by comparison that are always imperfect or by an effort of our imagination. At the question 22, Allan Kardec asked, matter is generally defined as that which has extension, that which can impress our sense, that which is impenetrable. Are these definitions correct? And the Spirit said, from your point of view, they are correct because you can only talk about matters that are familiar to you. Matter, however, also exists in states that are unfamiliar. For example, it may be so ethereal and so subtle that your sense cannot detect it. It is matter, nevertheless, even though you do not perceive it as such. And I will speak just a little bit about force center or chakras because they are part of the spirit, and we'll see with what is helping the body, how is helping the body this force center or chakras. In the external limits of the aura, the presence of energetic vortex can be perceived. In change of channeling towards the physical body, the energies that pass through the perispirit, originating from elaboration, synthesis, or observation of the level of the spirit. These vortices are defined as bell-shaped structure with their mouth facing the higher energy planes, the astral or spiritual, and fending towards the lower energy plane, the physical, where these energies merge through the nerves branches to lead to the various departments of organic activity, the currents of vitality, cosmic energy of varied order, waves, thoughts, and the manifestation of the divinity itself, covered into the light of love that animates all beings in the universe. And I will just main further all the important characteristics of what I have saying about spirit. And I said that the essential attribute um, are that we are children of the same father, that we have same consideration, same point of departure, created simple and ignorant, all reach the degree of perfection. Spirits are intelligent individuals, incorporeal, thinking being, populating the universe, independent of matter. Like constitution and function, I said the spiritual body is the physical vehicle per excellence, electromagnetic structure, somewhat modified in relation to the genetic and nutritional phenomena. The mind is uh, it is a reflection of the planes of phenomena, thought, feeling, and will, forming the mental current under the command of the will. It will act on matter and fluids. Through this mental current, the energetic structure of the perispirit vibrate, activating in turn the nervous system in the physical field. It is matter nonetheless, even though you do not perceive it as such. Energetic vortices can be perceived in change of channeling towards the physical body, the energy that pass through the perispirit. And before I speak about the perispirit, I will just say something about soul, that what is the soul and what is the spirit, and if is the same or is different. As long as the spirit is incarnated, we call it soul. After disincarnating, it returns to its natural states of spirit. This fact is pointed out in the Spirit book. At the questions 134, Allan Kardec asked, "What is the soul?" An incarnate spirit. At the question 134a, ask, "What was the soul before its union with a body?" A spirit. At the question 134b, are souls and spirits therefore one and the same thing? And the high spirit said, yes, so are no more than spirits. Before uniting with the body, the soul is one of the intelligent beings who populate the invisible world, and it later temporarily assumes a physical envelope in order to purify and enlighten itself. And now I will speak about perispirit and inmost nature of the spirit per se, that is of the thinking being, is entirely unknown to us. It only reveals itself through its action, and this action can only impress our sense by means of unthought or material intermediary designed by the name designed by the name Spirit. The question 93, is the spirit per se without the covering, or it is surrounded by some kind of substance? The High Spirit said that the spirit is surrounded by a substance that might look vaporous to you, but which is still quite dense to us. Nevertheless, it is sufficiently vaporous to be able to raise itself into the air and travel to whatever it wants to go. Due to its spiritual essence, the spirit is an indefinite, abstract being that cannot act directly upon matter. It needs an intermediary. This intermediary is the fluid envelope, which is, in a certain way, an integral part of the spirit, a semi material envelope, which one could say it's linked to matter by its origin and to spirituality by its ethereal nature. And like all matter, it is drawn from the universal cosmic fluid, which is in this instance undergoes a special modification. This envelope, designed by the name perispirit, makes the spirit, an abstract being, into a concrete, defined being that is perceptible to thought. It render it capable of acting upon tangible matter as well as all imponderable fluids, which, as we know, are the most powerful driving forces. The spiritual field is therefore the link between the spirit and matter. The perispirit in the form to which the body adapts, possessing as the physical, although more perfect cells, organs, electronic circuits, functioning harmoniously and independently. During its union with the body, it is the vehicle of its thought for transmitting movement to the various parts of the organism, which act under the impulse of its will, and for enabling repercussion within the spirit of the sensations produced by exterior agents. The nerves are its conducting wire in the same way that the mental wire is the conductor of the electric fluid in the telegraph. At the question 94, Allan Kardec asks, where does the spirit get this semi-material envelope? And the higher spirit said that they will take it from each globe own universal fluid. That it's why the perispirit is not the same on all words. In passing from one world to other, spirits change their envelope, just as you change your clothes. So know that all words have a different configuration, and uh, it's have a different universal fluid. So when we pass from a world to another, we had to change our semi-material envelope. Spirit extracts their perispirit from the environment in which they find themselves, which means that this envelope is formed from environmental fluids. The result is that the compositional elements of the perispirit must vary according to the different worlds. The perispirit is making this like lightning when he has to change it. Depending on whatever the spirit itself is more purified or less so, its perispirit is form or pure or dense part of the fluid suitable for the world where it incarnate. The spirit produced there always by comparison and not by equivalence, the effect of chemical reaction that attracts to itself the molecules that its nature can assimilate. From this, a crucial fact may be drawn. The inner composition of the perispirit is not identical among all the incarnates or disincarnate spirits that populate the earth on the space or the space surrounding it. However, the same does not apply to the corporeal body, which has the same shown in is form or of identical elements. However, highly or little involved the spirit may be. Also, the effects produced by the body are the same from everyone, and their needs are the same. Whereas everybody is different with respect on to their perispirit. For the results, the perispiritual envelope of the same spirit change with its progress in each incarnation, uh, even if it incarnates in the same environment. In the exceptional case where high order spirits incarnate on missions, not on a less involved world, they have a less dense perispirit than the indigenous inhabitants of that world. The environment only has to do with the nature of the beings that must live in. Fish are in the water, land beings in the air, and spirits beings in the spiritual or ethereal fluid, even on earth. The ethereal fluid is not it's to the needs of the spirits what the atmosphere is to the needs of incarnates. At the question 95, Allan Kardec asked, does the spirit semi-material envelope has a specific form and can it be seen? And the high spirit said, yes, a form according to the spirit's volition. And that is how it sometimes appears to you in dreams or in the awakened state, and how it may take on a visible or even tangible form. By its very nature and its normal state, this perispirit is invisible. The same may be said of countless fluid that we know to exist but which we have never seen. But like certain fluid, it can undergo modification that render it visible, whatever by a sort of condensation or by a change in its molecular arrangements. This is when it can appear to us in a vaporous form. Condensation can be such that the perispirit acquires the property of a solid and tangible body, but it can instantaneously return to its ethereal and invisible state. We can understand this process by comparing it to steam, which can go from invisibility to a mist, then to a liquid, and finally to a solid, and vice versa. These diverse states of the perispirit, however, are due to the will of the spirit itself and not to physical or outside causes, as it's the case of with our gases. A spirit can appear to us when it places its perispirit in the state necessary to become visible. And this case is when is the case of apparitions. But we have to know also that just a simple desire, it's not enough to produce the effect, because the modification of the perispirit can only occur when it combines its own fluids with the specific fluid of a medium. So the spirit has to take for a medium very specific fluids that the medium has, and then use it to become visible. And another property of the perispirit is the penetrability inherent to its ethereal nature. No type of matter can obstruct it. It can pass through anything as easily as light passes through transparent object. There are no means of preserving spirits for entering a place. They can visit prisoners in their cells as easily as they can visit someone in the middle of an open field. And the question is the perispirit part of the spirit or is created from the universal fluid? And in the Medium's book, Allan Kardec said, but the spirit of both the living and the dead always retains its semi-material envelope, which, for the same causes that have been referred to, can acquire visibility and tangibility. The perispirit is part of the spirit. How I said, a semi-material envelope, which one could say it's linked to matter by its origin and to spirituality by its ethereal nature. So the perispirit is part of the spirit, and when he takes fluids from the environment, is because he needs to adapt to a world. If it's here in the earth, he has to adapt here at this world, and if he goes to another world, he will change because how I say it, the other worlds have other fluid configuration. So he extract from that environment the fluids that he need. And here always we are doing the same when we are go to the North Pole, where is very is freezing, and we have to adapt our spirit and our body to that temperature. The perispirit will adapt himself very quickly, the same like a lightning, how he is doing when he has to go to another world. But here in the earth, the problem we have is with the body that will last long to adapt himself to that kind of temperature. And in Genesis, Allan Kardec said that the ethereal fluid is to the needs of spirit what the atmosphere is to the needs of incarnates. And I will make the main furthers. And the main furthers of perispirits are: the perispirit is invisible but can be visible. Luvaparius, fluidic, there is a fluidic envelope. It is linked between the spirit and matter. It is the vehicle of its thought for transmitting movement to the various parts of the organism. The inner composition is not identical among all the incarnates or disincarnate spirits. Linked to matter by its origin and to spirituality by its ethereal nature, drawn from the universal cosmic fluid. The perispirit it is fit with the physical body, magnetized and penetrates the etheric double without being confused with it, because it constitutes a potentially more active field. And the most important properties of the perispirit are operations, adaptability, tangibility, transfiguration, bicorporeity, penetrability, emancipation, and expansion. And there are a lot of them more, but I just present all just a few of them and the most important. And I will speak now about the vital fluid. And the vital fluid is between the perispirit and the body. It's what it's called the vital fluid. This structure was presented by Allan Kardec as a vital principle, a modification originating from the universal fluid, which determines the phenomena of life when it's acting in association with matter. That principle, it is still matter, although organized in vibratory expression that exceed the limits of a perception until then used by the human being. The vital principle is objectified in living beings through a field called double ethereal or vital body, which, as André Louis says, is made up of effluvia of neuropsychic nature, emanating from the group of cells with the function of ensuring balance between soul and body. At the question 27, Alenka then asks, so are these two general elements in the universe matter and spirit? However, to the element of matter must be added the universal fluid, which plays an intermediary role between spirit and matter per se, since matter is too dense for spirit to act upon it directly. Although, from a certain point of view, this fluid may be regarded as part of the material element. It differs from it due to a special property. If it were simply matter, there would be no reason for spirit not to be matter too. It is placed between spirit and matter, yet it is a fluid, just as matter is matter. In this countless combination with matter and under the direction of spirit, it is capable of producing an infinite variety of things about which you still know very, very little. By being the agent upon which spirit acts, this universal, primitive, or elementary fluid, it is the principle without which matter would forever remain in a state of dispersion. It would never acquire the properties given to it by gravitation. The universal cosmic fluid is the primitive elementary matter, whose modification and transformation comprise the innumerable variety of bodies found in nature. As the universal elementary principle, it offers two distinct states: etherization or imponderability, which may be considered the normal primitive states, and materialization and ponderability, which is in a certain way only consecutive to the former. The starting point of the universal fluid is its degree of absolute purity, about which nothing can give us an idea. The opposite point, it is transformation into the tangible matter. Between these two extremes are innumerable transformations that approximate one extreme or the other to variety degrees. The fluids closest to materiality and consequently the latest pure comprise what may be called the spiritual atmosphere of the earth. It is within this environment also comprised of various degree of purity that the incarnate and disincarnate spirits of the earth absorb the elements needed for the economy of their existence. As subtle and intangible as these fluids may be to us, they are nevertheless of a rather coarse nature when compared to the ethereal fluids of the higher spheres. The same occurs in the surface of all words, except from the difference in their constitution and the condition of vitality proper to each one. The less material the life on them, the less affinity the spiritual fluids have with matter per se. And here I want to explain that the fluid vital is not the vitality. The vital fluid helps the body to have vitality. He surround the organs and with the movement of the organs, or with the action of the organs, produce vitality. So we don't have to think that the vital fluid is the vitality. Is not. It's just helping. And finally, I will talk about vital fluid and aura, and considering every cell in action as a living unit, like a microscopic motor in connection with a mental installation, it is clearly understandable that all cellular aggregation emit radiation, and that these radiation are articulated through functional synergy that must constitute a resource that we can call thesis of forces around the body that externalize them. In man, however, such a projection emerge profoundly enriched and modified by the factors of a continuous thought, which, adjusting their own emanation with those of the cellular field, modeled around this personality, the well known vital body or etheric double duplicate more or less radiantly the human person. In human beings, these radiation are molded by the molding force of the spirit, reflecting to the physical vision as an aura, an ovoid formation of colorful tones which suffer marked influence from the organic state, somatic body, and from the thoughts elaborated by the soul. The aura thought, its colors, textures, and format represent the identification card of each being because they're the moral, emotional, health, and illness states are registered, marking our victories or revealing our miseries, which are shown in the path of other beings. And like main feature, I said that vital fluid is part of the universal cosmic fluid between the spirit, perispirit, and the body. Without him, the spirits cannot unite to the body, called the double ethereal or vital body, give the phenomena of life in association with matter. Its matter, organized in vibratory expression, penetrate the body and organs and maintain the life in body. With the help of the organs, maintain the vitality, combined with perispirit, helps the spirit to collect information from the body. The vital fluid is not the same in each person or species. The aura are the emanation from the organic state, somatic body, and from the thoughts elaborated by the soul, duplicated more or less radiantly the human person. And finally, I will speak about human body, that it can be considered due to the complexity of its function and the purpose for which is invented as the most perfect machine that is known. At the question 22a, Allan Kardec asked, Then how may we define matter? And the High Spirit said that the matter is the tie that enchains spirit. It is the instrument that spirit uses and upon which it simultaneously exerts its action. Before matter could be the object of labor of the spirit for the development of its faculties, it was necessary for the spirit to be able to act upon it. And this is why it came to dwell in it like a lumberjack dwells in the forest. Since matter had to be simultaneously the object and the instrument of labor, God, instead of joining the spirit to the rigid stone, created organized, flexible bodies capable of both receiving all the impulse of the spirit's will and of lending itself to all its movements. The body is therefore simultaneously an envelope and instrument of the spirit, and as the spirit acquires new aptitude, uh, it's closes itself in another envelope that is appropriate for the new type of work that is must perform. Just as less heavy tools are employed by those capable of performing more delicate work. So when we are changing the world and go to a superior world, how they say we change our envelope, and the matter is not so heavy. And I will go on with and say that to be more exact, it must be stated that it's the spirit itself that models its own envelope and render it acquired for its new requirements. This the spirit perfects, develops, and completes the organism in the degree that it feels the need to manifest new faculties. In other words, it tailors it to the stature of its intelligence. God furnishes the spirit with the materials, but it is up to the spirit to use them. When the spirit must incarnate in a human body that is about to be formed, a fluidic tie, which is nothing but an extension of its perispirit, connects to the zygote, to which it is attracted by an irresistible force from the moment or conception. And this tie we call here the silver thread. As the fetus develops, the tie tightens. Under the influence of the fetus vital material principle, the perispirit, which possess certain properties of matter, it's unified molecular by molecular to the body that is forming, a fact from which one may deduce that the spirit thought to the um, intermediary of the perispirit sort of take root in the fetus much as a plant takes root in the soil. When the fetus is fully developed, the union is complete and the being is born to the external life. However, at the same time that the spirit recovers its self awareness, it loses the memory of its past, but without losing the faculties, qualities, and aptitude that it had acquired previously. Aptitude which had remained temporarily in a latent state, and which, upon resuming their activity, will help the spirit do more and do better than what it did in the previous incarnation. But this kind of the faculties and the qualities, um, it stay in a lighted state, but part of them we are using here. What they are in the lighted state, we are using by intuition. And the incarnate spirit's obligation is to provide to the sustenance of its body, but also to the sustenance of his spirit. And this sustenance we can acquire from the prayer. From it also has to look for its safety and well-being constraints it to apply its faculty in the search to exercise and develop such faculties. Its union with matter is useful for its evolution, and that is why incarnation is necessary. Furthermore, by means of the intelligent labor that it's performed upon matter to its own advantage, it conquers in the physical transformation and progress of the globe that it inhabits. Thus, as this progresses, it collaborates with the work of the creator, of which is become an unconscious agent. And I can say that when we are prepare our life and our body, we came here and we are trying to go on with this life. We also we also participate in the progress of this earth, the world here. And that's why the high spirits say that it collaborates with the work of the creator. Everyone has his small mission to do here in the earth. The spirit incarnation, however, is neither constant nor perpetual. It is only transitory. Upon leaving one body behind, it does not take another immediately. He does not take immediately, but he also could study when he is in a state of spirit. He can participate in conference courses, work and acquire more experience and help him with the new incarnation, help himself with the new incarnation. Incarnation is therefore not normally a punishment for the spirit, as some might think, but a condition inherent to the inferiority state of the spirit and a means of progressing. Well, we all have to get to the purity, so that the kind of state is superior. We are in a inferiority state, and we are trying now to get to the superior state, that is purity. And that's why the incarnation is not considered a punishment. It's just we need the incarnation for our progress. Maybe we considered the incarnation a punishment because we also thought about the law of cause and effect, and we came here to suffer the effects, but it also helps us to progress and to get to the purity. During the interval between its incarnation, the spirit also progresses in the sense that it uses for its advancement the knowledge and experience it acquires during its corporal life. It examined what did during its early stay, review what it's learned, reorganize its wrongs, draws up its plans, and makes resolution by which it hopes to be guided in a new existence as it tries to do better. It is in this way that each life is a step forward on the path of progress, a sort of practical schooling. And by an opposite effect, this union between the spirit and corporeal matter, a union that had been completed under the influence of the zygote's vital principle, terminates when this principle terminates to act due to the disorganization of the body. This union, which had been maintained only by an actuating force, breaks down as soon as this force terminates to act. Then the perispirit disengage molecular by molecular as when it was united, uniting, and the spirit is set free. It is not the departure of the spirit that caused the death of the body. Rather, the death of the body is what causes the departure of the spirit. And the main furthers for the lives, I said that when the spirits must incarnate in a human body that is about to form, a fluidic tie, which is nothing but an extension of its perispirit, connects to the zygote. I also said that the fetus develops the tie tightness as the fetus develops the tie tightens. The perispirit is united molecular by molecular to the body that is forming. And when the fetus is fully developed, the union is complete and the being is born to the external life. It loses the memory of its past, but without losing the faculties, qualities, and aptitude that it had acquired previously, aptitude which has remained temporarily in a latent state. Union with the matter is useful for its evolution. Spirit's incarnation is neither constant nor perpetual. It is only transitory, perpetual. Spirit's incarnation is neither constant nor perpetual, it's only transitory. And I just want to say that when the child is born, the spirit is integrated with the body. Maybe we thought that the integration is made when the fluid tie is connect to the zygote, but it's not like this. It's when the child is born, the spirit is integrated with the body. And in terms of that, I said that the union between the perispirit and corporeal matter terminates when this principle terminates to act due to the disorganization of the body. The perispirit disengages molecular by molecular, and the spirit is set free. Between its incarnation, the spirit also progresses. And at the question 25, Allan Kardec said that asked if is a spirit independent of matter or it is only a property of matter, as color are property of light and as sound is a property of air. And the high spirit said that they are distinct from each other, but the union of spirit and matter is necessary to enable matter to make her intelligent. The spirit body integration is preceded by the reciprocal action between the organic and mental energy. The perispirit, in its fit with the physical body, magnetizes and penetrates the etheric double without being confused with it, because it constitutes a potentially more active field. And finally, we are see all the four components together and see all the integration how is made. So the spirit that is a quintessized matter, meaning the pure and concentrate essence of a substance, with his perispirit, fluidic body of the spirit, and vital fluid that unites spirit to matter, gives to the body intelligence and life. Everything in the universe is connected. Everything forms a chain. Everything is subject to the grand and harmonious law of unity, from the most physically dense to the most spiritually purified. Thank you very much for your attention. Light and love to all of you.